Welcome in, everyone, to this deep dive we're doing today into AI at Southern New Hampshire University.
Yeah, specifically their AI summit that happened last week.
Yeah, last week on October 17th. And it was a really cool event with a lot of interesting insights. So just to kind of set the stage for people who weren't there.
Right.
It wasn't your typical tech conference. And there were a lot of different voices and perspectives in the room.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because it's SNHU, a university that's really involved in, shaping the future of education is taking on this whole AI revolution.
Exactly. And you had everything from like AI policy experts kind of setting the stage to professors talking about how AI is impacting their classrooms right now.
Right.
And even students, sharing their hopes and anxieties about the future.
Yeah, I mean, AI is such a hot topic right now, and it's not just about the technology itself, right?
Right.
It's about how we use it, all the implications it has for every aspect of our lives.
Right.
How we prepare for a future where AI is, increasingly integrated into everything we do.
Right. And that actually brings up one of the biggest questions that kind of kept coming up at the summit, which is, when will we know if we get AI right?
Right.
Like, it just feels like such a moving target, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It does. And Sean Powers, he's the senior director of AI policy at SNHU, had this great analogy.
Oh, yeah.
He compared it to like societal progress.
Okay.
Think about how our views on certain issues have evolved over time. Like what was considered totally acceptable a century ago, might be unthinkable today.
Totally.
Right. It's the same with AI. As the technology advances our understanding of its implications, and our ethical considerations are going to continue to shift as well.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Because it's not like there's just a fixed set of rules for AI.
Right.
Right. It's like it's about creating this framework for continuous evaluation and adaptation. And I think this is where SNHU's approach is so refreshing. They're not like rushing headlong into AI adoption.
Right.
They're taking this kind of slow and steady approach.
Exactly. Dave Humphrey, director of AI integration over there, he really stressed the importance of prioritizing responsible implementation over speed, It's about making sure that AI is used to enhance the learning experience and not disrupt it.
Right. That makes total sense. Because, you think about it from a student's perspective.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel like you're a guinea pig in some grand AI experiment.
Right, exactly. And that leads us to another really interesting area that they explored at the summit, which is how SNHU is actually integrating AI into the learning experience.
Yeah, how are they actually using it?
Yeah, so one example is the potential use of AI within Brightspace, their learning management system.
And so how would that actually work? Like, what would an AI-powered learning experience even look like for a student?
So imagine a world where your learning platform is truly personalized.
Right.
AI could be used to develop these virtual tutors that adapt to your individual learning style.
That's cool.
Provide you with real-time feedback on your assignments, or even create like customized study guides that target your specific areas of weakness.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But I also imagine there are like challenges to consider.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
One concern that came up at the summit was the potential for bias in AI systems.
Okay.
So, for example, AI chat detectors, these are designed to identify AI-generated text.
Right.
Could potentially misinterpret the work of neurodivergent students.
Wait, how so?
Well, neurodivergent students often think and express themselves in unique ways.
Okay.
An AI system that's not designed to recognize these differences might flag their work as AI-generated simply because it deviates from the norm.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that AI systems are inclusive and recognize the diversity of human thought and expression.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we even begin to address that?
Well, it all comes down to the design and training of these systems.
Okay.
We need to make sure that AI is developed with a deep understanding of human cognition and that it's trained on diverse data sets that actually reflect the full spectrum of human experience.
Right.
And that takes a lot of careful thought and consideration.
It's so fascinating to think about how AI is not only changing the way we learn, but also forcing us to re-examine our assumptions about learning itself.
Yeah. It's a two-way street, isn't it?
Yeah.
AI is pushing us to think differently about education.
Right.
And that's exciting.
It is. And it's not just about the classroom either.
Right.
The summit also highlighted the impact of AI on the modern workplace.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is where things get really interesting for you listening right now.
Yeah.
Regardless of what field you're in, or even if you're still in school, AI is going to play some role in your future career.
Okay, so how can people prepare for that? Is it all about learning to code and becoming like an AI expert?
Not necessarily. While technical skills are definitely important.
Yeah.
The experts at the summit really emphasize the importance of adaptability and continuous learning.
Okay, it's almost like the specific AI tools
Yeah.
are less important than just the ability to adapt to new technologies and embrace new ways of thinking.
Precisely. Because AI is evolving so rapidly that the tools you learn today might be outdated tomorrow.
Right.
What's more valuable is developing those critical thinking and problem-solving skills to navigate this constantly changing landscape.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So it's not just about learning a specific set of AI skills. It's about developing that mindset of lifelong learning and kind of embracing the unknown.
Exactly. And here's another really fascinating idea that emerged from the summit.
Okay.
The importance of choosing AI tools that actually align with your values.
That's interesting. So it's like being a conscious consumer. But instead of choosing like fair trade coffee, you're choosing AI that reflects your ethical framework.
Precisely. It's about being discerning and making informed choices.
Okay.
About the AI tools that you use. And the good news is that with the proliferation of AI tools, we actually have a lot of choices.
Right.
It's not like we're stuck with one monolithic AI system.
That's empowering.
It is.
So do your research, ask questions, and don't just jump on the AI bandwagon because everyone else is.
Yeah.
Find tools that resonate with you and align with your values.
I love that. That's a great takeaway. It's about taking ownership of your AI journey and making choices that reflect your individual needs and values.
Now let's get real for a moment. It's not all sunshine and roses when it comes to AI, is it?
Right.
The summit also addressed some valid concerns about the future of AI development. For example, there's a lot of talk about the possibility of another AI winter.
Right. That period where AI research and funding kind of slows down like what happened in the past. It's definitely a possibility we can't ignore.
Right.
But I also think it's important to look at the bigger picture.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, the current landscape is vastly different from previous AI hype cycles.
Okay.
We're seeing massive investments from major companies,
Right.
the development of really powerful new AI models, and a growing awareness of AI's potential across various industries. That suggests a level of commitment to AI development that we haven't really seen before.
So it's a mixed bag, but maybe we're in a better position to weather any potential storms this time around.
I think so. And one of the things that makes me optimistic is the increased focus on responsible AI development.
Yeah.
There's a growing recognition that we need to be thoughtful about the ethical implications of AI and make sure that it benefits society as a whole.
That's reassuring.
Yeah.
It feels like we're moving in the right direction, even if the path ahead isn't perfectly clear.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. And speaking of complexity, one of the things that really struck me at the summit was this whole discussion about AI's potential to democratize information.
That's a big idea.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean in the context of AI?
So think about it. With AI-powered tools like, advanced search engines, real-time translation, personalized learning platforms, we're making knowledge more accessible to more people than ever before.
Right.
It's like giving everyone a key to the world's library.
That sounds amazing in theory, but I also imagine there are challenges.
Sure.
With so much information at our fingertips.
Yeah.
How do we know what to trust? How do we sift through all the noise and find accurate, reliable information?
That's where critical thinking skills become absolutely essential.
Wow.
It's no longer enough to just passively absorb information.
Right.
We need to be able to evaluate sources, identify biases, and form our own informed opinions.
So it's not just about having access to information. It's about having the skills to actually navigate that information landscape effectively. And that's a big part of what SNHU is trying to do with their approach to AI in education. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about teaching students to use AI tools.
Right.
It's about equipping them with those critical thinking skills to thrive in this increasingly complex information environment.
Yeah, I love that. It's like giving them a compass and a map for the digital age, not just a fancy new vehicle.
Exactly. And it's not just about students. Everyone needs to be prepared for this shift.
Yeah. I remember there's a question at the summit about how SNHU is preparing students for the demands of a modern workplace,
Right.
that expects AI proficiency.
Right. And the answer wasn't just about adding AI-specific courses. It was about weaving AI literacy into existing programs regardless of the field.
So whether you're studying history or computer science, you're learning how AI impacts your field and how to use it effectively.
Exactly. And that's a key point. Effectiveness. AI is a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us to use it responsibly and ethically.
Which brings us back to those ethical considerations we talked about earlier.
Right. It's a constant balancing act.
Yeah.
We want to harness the power of AI while safeguarding against its potential pitfalls.
Right. And it's not something that can be solved by a single university or a single government.
Yeah.
It requires collaboration, open dialogue, and a willingness to constantly learn and adapt.
Absolutely. It's a challenge, but it's also an incredible opportunity to shape the future of technology in a way that benefits all of humanity.
That's a powerful thought. It feels like we're on the cusp of something truly transformative.
We are. And it's up to each of us to decide what role we want to play in this transformation.
So what does all this mean for you, dear listener? What stands out to you from all of these insights?
Take a moment to reflect on how AI is already impacting your life and how it might shape your future. Are you excited by the possibilities? Do you have any concerns?
And most importantly, what steps can you take to prepare yourself for this AI-driven world?
It might be as simple as learning a new skill, exploring a new AI tool, or simply starting a conversation about these issues with your friends, family, or colleagues.
Remember, the future of AI isn't predetermined. It's being written right now, and we all have a part to play. It's interesting, right, how we often hear those kind of like dystopian narratives about AI taking over the world. But what really struck me at the summit was the emphasis on human agency.
Right. It's not about AI versus humanity.
Yeah.
It's about how we can use AI as a tool to like augment our abilities and create a better future.
Exactly. And one of the key takeaways for me was that we actually have the power to shape the development and implementation of AI.
We're not just passive observers.
No.
We can make conscious choices about the AI tools we use,
Right.
advocate for responsible AI development, and make sure that AI is aligned with our values.
That's so important because AI isn't inherently good or bad, right? It's a reflection of the data it's trained on and the intentions of the people who create it.
Exactly, which is why it's so crucial to have diverse voices and perspectives involved in AI development.
Right.
You know, we need to make sure that AI is representative of humanity as a whole, not just a select few.
That makes me think back to the discussion about the potential for AI to perpetuate existing biases.
Right.
If we're not careful, we could end up with AI systems that reinforce inequality or discrimination.
It's a real concern. And it highlights the need for ongoing evaluation and oversight.
Okay.
We can't just set it and forget it.
Right.
We need to constantly monitor AI systems, identify potential biases, and make adjustments as needed.
It's like raising a child, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to provide guidance, set boundaries, and make sure they're developing in a healthy and responsible way.
That's a great analogy. And just like with children, we can't predict exactly how AI will evolve.
Right.
But with careful attention and thoughtful guidance, we can help it reach its full potential while mitigating the risks.
So back to that big question we started with, when will we know if we get AI right?
Right.
Maybe the answer is that it's an ongoing process, a constant evolution.
I think you're right. There's no finish line when it comes to AI, ethics, and responsible development.
Right.
It's a journey of continuous learning, adaptation, and collaboration.
And it's a journey we're all on together. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone who's curious about the future,
Yeah.
AI is going to impact your life in some way.
So, dear listener, as you go about your day, keep these insights in mind. Be curious, be critical, and be engaged in the conversation about AI. Your voice matters.
The future of AI is being shaped right now.
Yeah.
Let's make it a future we can all be proud of.